What I try to do now is come in and allow them to be more resilient for that activity. I'm trying to come in and add value. Listen, you're really passionate about spinning 5 days a week. All right, there's things we need to do with our hips. There's things that we need to do with our glutes. There's things that we need to do with our thoracic extension, our thoracic rotation. We're locking ourselves into our bike. Let's mix this in so you can continue to enjoy doing the things that you love, like spinning, and we can make sure that your body doesn't break down. So
No, that's a fantastic answer because I always find that like the people who don't get on at the gym are those who sit there and they'll say, I don't really like the gym. And you're like, well, what are you training for? Don't really know. Well, what are you focusing on? What's your like? Have you got a challenge coming up? No, I'm just going to the gym because that's been what I was told. I need to lose some weight. They don't go and think, oh, I could play tennis, I could do X, Y, CrossFit, Brazilian Jiu
right.
Jitsu. And do you think that's the problem? Is that we don't have set goals? And how do you start reverse engineering? Say if somebody like Ryan Reynolds came to you and said, I need to do movie shape for Deadpool 3 in such and such a time. How would you start working back and adding in sort of, work out the intensity, the frequency, that sort of thing?
Well, I think we got to look at where they are in their life at that time, right? Ryan is someone I've worked with for probably over 12 years at this point, and he's a very easy person to work with. I mean, he's very like he when it's time for him to flick that switch, he does, and he's been like a brother to me, and I can go on for an hour about him. He's amazing, but I think with someone like him, it's or let's not use him for example. Let's just use someone else because I think he's pretty easy. Um, where how have they been training for the last weeks, months, years? Have they been right? What are they preparing for nutritionally? Where are they at? How's their sleep? How's their digestion? How's their stress in their life? And I think once you start understanding these questions and you start checking boxes, then you can kind of start from the finish, right? Then you can say, all right, where do we need to be? Sorry, where do you need to be, and what is the roadmap we're going to give you to get from point A to point B? Because as you know, as well as anyone else, like there's a million ways, there's a million programs that you can create. Like I've been writing programs for 30 years. So
Mhm.
and are there ones that I like more than others? Sure, but like I don't know. It's not like there's never one that sticks out in my mind where I'm like, that's the best one I've ever written. Like it's different tools for different people. And
Yeah.
if they're coming to me and they're like, I have to squat and I'm looking at their squat's terrible and they don't have the ankle dorsiflexion or they don't have the hip mobility or they can't get into position. Maybe it's a trap bar deadlift. Maybe it's a rear foot elevated split squat. Maybe, and then it's talking to them saying, listen, we can go do that movement, but it's just right now, I think we need to put our foot on the gas with this exercise. And then let's do other things to try and clean up our squat in the future. I think it's sitting with them too and mapping out a game plan to where we understand what has to go into this in the next month, 2 months, 5 months, a year. I don't know how much time I have to work with them, but I think, yeah, reverse engineering is good, but I think it's also understanding, like as well as anyone, that map, it always changes. It's always like it's never that
Mm.
same roadmap every time. Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, Deadpool 3, probably three completely different programs, right? Like Deadpool 1 came out. How many years ago was that? Like you evolve. We realize his body evolves.